It certainly didn't feel 100%. And then, yeah, you're absolutely right that it was after I'd had it for quite a few days, and I went off and self-isolated. But it kind of didn't go away, and it didn't get better. And then there came the moment when, you know, I said, you know, well, it's not getting better, and they said, well, we think you ought to go into hospital and have it looked at. As I went into hospital, have it looked at, and they were fantastic. They were wonderful. I heard
there were times you couldn't get up the stairs, and you know your wife had to help you. Things weren't.
It's certainly anybody who's had COVID, and there are many thousands of people who have been through it in the country today. Will tell you that it can be pretty debilitating. It does put you flat on your back. That's what happened to me. It was in the early stages of our understanding of it. I went into hospital, and it was certainly true that my oxygen levels, for whatever reason, were pretty low. And you know, they put the oximeter on your forefinger, and they monitor you very very carefully. And they were absolutely brilliant. But for some reason, they couldn't seem to get my oxygen levels to get up to the levels that they wanted. And you should be roughly sort of 94% or above 94% oxygenation of the blood. And I think when I went in, I was in the 80s somewhere, I think. And I then had a pretty groggy night, and you know, went down even lower. But as I've said before, the NHS was absolutely amazing, and I owe everything to two nurses in particular. The whole team was incredible, but there was a nurse called Jenny and a nurse called Louise, and one from New Zealand. Jenny was from New Zealand and Louise was from Portugal, and they were very, very good at making sure that I got the right amount of oxygen at the right time.
So did they put you on a ventilator? Did you want to go on a ventilator?
You know, I had no views about. They didn't put me on a ventilator, but this was, I think, in the early days when we thought generally that getting people onto a ventilator was a good thing. And if you'll recall, we launched this thing called the Ventilator Challenge, and the British industry, British manufacturing responded heroically, and literally dozens of companies came forward, and not only came forward with ideas, but produced ventilators. Formula One motoring companies produced ventilators from scratch to try to help with the pandemic. It was absolutely amazing. As things went on, I think that the doctors started to recognise that probably there were other treatments that needed to be preferred to ventilation.